Hi everyone and welcome to today's video. This is level A2. This is unit 20, lesson 1. In this lesson we're going to be learning to use can and could to talk about present and past abilities. So what's happening here in this picture? Let's take a look and see if you can describe what you see here. And do you know these activities? So this looks like it's what we call equestrian events involving riding horses. This is baseball. This is cricket. And this is badminton. So do you like sports? And what can you do? Do you know what this activity is called? And what's in the bag? Do you know? And do you listen to the radio or podcasts? So you can maybe take some guesses about who is the interviewer, what are they talking about, who is the guest, and do you have a favorite podcast or radio station? All right, we're going to listen to part 1 of this interview and then read the sentences and then indicate whether they are true or false. So let's listen.
Good evening, everybody. Today, I'm speaking to Sandra Stevens, who is a professional tennis player. Sandra, welcome to the show.
Thank you.
First, I'd like to ask you about how it all started. How old were you when you started playing tennis?
Well, I got my first tennis racket for Christmas when I was 6.
6?
Yes, that's right. I couldn't play tennis when I was 6, of course, but we had tennis lessons at school, and I started to improve.
Did you find it easy at the beginning?
Well, I found some things easy. I was good at running, and I could move around the tennis court quickly, but I couldn't serve very well. I wasn't very tall, and I couldn't hit the ball very hard.
All right, so she started playing tennis when she was 4 years old. That's false. She said she was 6 years old. When she started, she found some things easy. That was true. At the beginning, she could move around the court easily. That was true. She wasn't very tall when she was 6. That's true. She could hit the ball very hard. That is false. All right, we're going to listen to part 2 and then fill in the blanks as we go.
So, let's move on to talking about your career now. Has your serve improved?
Yes, absolutely. These days I'm tall, and I can serve very well. My serve is one of the best parts of my game. My movement around the court is still a strength, and I can play well from the back of the court too.
What are the areas you would like to improve next?
Well, I'm trying to improve my volleying. I am confident when I play at the back of the court, but I don't come to the net very often because I can't volley very well. That's my next area to work on.
All right, so now read these sentences and which sentences are about the present and which are about the past, and which words do we use to talk about ability. So Samuel can play the piano very well. Well, that's about the present, and can is the ability word. I couldn't speak English when I was young. Well, that's past, and couldn't is the ability word. Alfonso can play it well. That's the present, can. When I was a child, I could stand on my hands. So this one is past, and could is the ability word. When Jake was 7, he couldn't read very well. Again, that one is past, and couldn't is the ability. Albert can speak French, German, and Russian. That is present, and can is the ability word. Joey can't ski, but he can swim. That's also present, and can't and can are the ability words. When I was 20, I could run a mile in less than 6 minutes. That is past, and could is the ability word. So can and could for ability. We use can to talk about ability in the present and could to talk about ability in the past. And we have both the positive and negative in both present and past. So I can speak English. I can't come to the party. You can run well. You can't help me. He can sing. He can't paint well. She can dance. She can't ride a bike. We can play sports. We can't draw. They can see me. They can't buy the house. And in writing, you will often see cannot. Cannot is another form of can't. It's just a little more formal. Then for past, we use could and couldn't. I could swim well. I couldn't read well. You could play the guitar. You couldn't drive. He could run fast. He couldn't play basketball. She could read a book each week. She couldn't cook. We could travel. We couldn't talk in class. They could play baseball. They couldn't go to France. All right, so now practice using can, can't, could, or couldn't in these sentences. You can pause the video and try those on your own, write down your answers, and then restart when you're ready to check. All right, so when Arun was young, he couldn't run very well. He was very slow. Today, he is the fastest in his class. One can't play the guitar, but she plays the piano very well. A kangaroo can move very fast. It can hop up to 25 miles an hour. I could stay awake until 3 a.m. when I was in my 20s. These days I'm in bed by 10 p.m. When I was a child, you could see the beach from our balcony. Now you can't see it because there are a lot of tall buildings. Right, now are these statements true or false about you? I'll answer them for myself, but if your answers might be different. So when you were a child, you could play many sports. For me, that was false. I didn't really play many sports as a child. You can speak more than 2 languages. That's false. For me, last year you could speak English well. That is true. You can study for 4 hours without a break. That's true. When you were 10 years old, you couldn't read or write. That's false. I could read and write. And you can't run 20 miles. For me, that is true. So again, your answers may be different. So answer the statements as they are true or false about you. All right, let's look at some vocabulary words. We have coordinated. If you are coordinated, you can do difficult movements. And discover is to learn for the first time. So we'll read about Max. You can either pause the video and read on your own, or you can follow along as I read. Max grew up in a sports family. His father played cricket and his older brother played soccer. But Max was completely uncoordinated and couldn't play anything. He was absolutely terrible at sports. Then one day his class started swimming lessons at school, and he discovered he could swim. Finally, a sport he was good at. It was such a relief. These days he can swim very well, and he goes swimming at least twice a week. Okay, here are a few more vocabulary words. We have kid, which means a child. Select is to choose. And disappointed is how you will feel if you want something very much, but you don't get it. So again, you can pause the video and read about Jeremy on your own, or you can follow along as I read. Jeremy has always loved soccer. When he was a kid, he played every day with his friends. He couldn't play very well, but it was fun. In high school, all his friends were selected for the school team, but he wasn't. He was really disappointed. Years later, he started playing soccer with some friends at work. They play every week, and he really enjoys it. He still can't play very well, but he's not the worst player on the team, and it's fun. All right, so what can you remember? Read the questions about Max and Jeremy and match them to the answers. Again, you can pause the video, try that on your own, and then restart when you're ready to check your answers. All right, so when Max was young, could he play any sport? Well, no, he couldn't. He was uncoordinated. Can Max swim? Yes, he can. He can swim very well. Could Max's brother play soccer? I don't remember if it said. I think so. Yes, he could. And can Jeremy play soccer? Yes, he can, and he really enjoys it. All right, now we have the question form of can or could. So in the present, we would say, can you play tennis? Can he run fast? Can she throw a ball? Can they drive a car? In the past, could you play football? Could he speak French? Could she use a computer? Could they ride a bike? The short answers in the present are yes, you can, or no, you can't. Yes, he can. No, he can't. Yes, she can. No, she can't. Or yes, they can. No, they can't. And the short answers for the past: yes, you could. No, you couldn't. Yes, he could. No, he couldn't. Yes, she could. No, she couldn't. And yes, they could. No, they couldn't. All right, we have a few more vocabulary words. Coach is the person who teaches people how to play sports. Captain is the head of the team. And gym is a place where you exercise. And this is a rugby ball. So complete the text about Cameron using can, can't, could, or couldn't. You can pause the video, try that on your own, and then restart when you're ready to check your answers. Cameron's father bought him a rugby ball for his 6th birthday. He learned very quickly and he could play very well. But there was a problem. Rugby players are usually big and strong, and the coach said that Cameron was too small. He couldn't get taller, but he could get stronger. He spent a lot of time working out in the gym. These days, he's the captain of the local rugby team. He can still run fast and play well, but now he's bigger and stronger too. All right, so now make up some questions to ask these people if they can do these things now or if they could in the past. So again, you can pause the video, try that on your own, and then restart when you're ready to check your answers. So here we could ask her, can you run 5 miles without stopping? That would be the present. Or could you run 5 miles without stopping when you were a kid? For B, you could ask, can you play a musical instrument? And could you play a musical instrument when you were a child? Letter C. Can you ride a horse? Could you ride a horse when you were a child? And finally, can you play team sports? Could you play team sports at school? All right, now write some true and false sentences about your abilities that you have now and abilities that you had in the past. And here's some examples. I can ski very well. When I was 10, I could play the piano. So you can try writing those sentences about yourself on your own. And that brings us to the end of today's video. Please like, subscribe, share. If you have any questions or you'd like me to look at your sentences, please leave me a note in the comments. And I hope that you'll join us again soon. Thanks for watching. Bye.